Okay. How do you feel about the way that President Bush is reacting to the hurricane and the damage in Florida and Louisiana?
Well, I think he's doing more than what he would normally because of the election year.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he is. They really need the help. I sort of think he's just smoozing up to the public, and I don't think that normally he would. It's sort of tacky. I'm glad that he's doing something about it, but it's really tacky that he wouldn't otherwise. Okay. Roll him.
All right. How do you feel about the way that the government has reacted to the hurricane?
You know, I really don't know exactly how far the government has gone in their plans to make things better.
Okay. And we're just asking people like what they think about how President Bush has how he's been responding to Florida, the aftermath of the hurricane, his response to giving aid to people of Florida.
Well, I think that if President Bush really ever had anything on the ball, he would have anticipated this. He would have at least prepared for some type of a disaster since they knew the storm was coming, and it's obvious that, you know, it wasn't a priority. His entire, you know, all of his people working with him don't seem to be able to, you know, point out some pretty obvious things like, let's prepare for a storm that's coming so that we can jump on it and use it in the election as something, oh, you know, look, we helped all these people out in the storm. He obviously isn't too swift with that.
Do you think there's any comparison to the LA riots, the aftermath of that? Have you given any aid? Giving aid to them?
Giving aid to the
helping,
aftermath of it.
Right, helping rebuild. He's given, you know, quite a bit of money to helping rebuild at this point to Florida, but he's kind of pushed LA under the carpet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that the LA situation is sort of an American shameful thing, and for the most part I think Bush would like to just hide that instead of deal with it. So I don't think that, I'm not sure I'm not sure you can link the two or compare the two. You can contrast the two quite a bit.
Right.
I just think that he obviously should be paying attention to what the situation was in LA and not saying, oh, look at all these criminals in LA. He should be saying, you know, what happened here and how can we avoid it in the future.
Do you think that because of the time that it is and election time that influenced his actions after the hurricane?
I think that it probably did. I think, like I said before, if he'd been really swift, he would have been on the ball a hell of a lot sooner than that. But it's obvious that, yeah.
Just a quick question. Are you going to vote this year?
Yes, I am. I vote every election.
Good for you. Great. Thanks a lot.
Welcome.
Go ahead, Aaron. You gotta get to work.
You know, I've got to get to work.
Real quick, just a short little comment. Okay, how do you feel about the way that the president's been reacting to the aftermath of the hurricane victims, and in comparison to how he reacted to LA riots? Do you think that that there's been a difference there, or like the political, the time that it is, that maybe he's doing it for a vote, or?
Well, I think there's certainly something to do with the time. I mean, this is an election year, obviously. His reaction is probably a little bit slow given that, but the hurricane response is, in my opinion, well, I'm not speaking for the president, but in my opinion, it's not as paramount as the other situation.
Okay, how do you feel about the way that President Bush has reacted to the hurricane?
I think he reacted way too late. They needed the relief like right away as it was going on, and they didn't get it. He waited way too long, and then he was like, you know, making up excuses of why he waited too long. And I just think it reminds me of how he's dealt with the whole country as a whole. He takes care of everything outside the country, and then after the fact takes care of what's going on inside the country. And I just think he waited way too long.
Do you have any comments? Ditto?
Ditto.
Okay, what else do you think can be done to help the hurricane victims?
I think they need a lot more money. The governor down there has asked for a lot more money that he's not getting. And until they get the money to rebuild the homes and the schools, they're going to just sit in those tent cities. And I just think they need a lot more money.
Well, I think, yeah, more money, because like they were talking in the news the other night that only 10 of the public schools have reopened down in Florida, I think, and all the other students are just sitting there waiting for school to start, and it hasn't. So I think more money is definitely a necessity.
Okay, and in contrast to this, thinking about the LA riots and the way that the government reacted to that, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. The LA riots were, again, they reacted way too late. I think that they knew. I think the verdict, you know, I think they should have expected the not guilty verdict. Whether it was, however it was going to come down, they should have been expecting it and had people ready. And, you know, as it came out later in the news, Gates was at a party when this all came down and he was inaccessible. And I think they should have prepared and known. I mean, I knew that if it came down as not guilty, that LA was going to turn into a, you know, just a war zone. And I live in Madison, you know. And for people in LA not to realize what was going to happen and not be prepared for it was ludicrous.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right, we want to know how you felt, President Bush handled the situation with the hurricane in comparison to how he handled the situation during the riots in LA.
That's a bad question to ask me. I'm not up on
Not really
political
into
stuff.
politics. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he does anything.
Yeah,
He doesn't. His response wasn't that great. I don't think. I wasn't very impressed with the responses. So I mean, but other than that, I really politics.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
How do you feel the president reacted towards the hurricane in Florida in comparison to...
The one in Hawaii?
No, in comparison to how he reacted to the LA riots and how he dealt with the aftermath of the LA riots.
Well, the LA riots, it's half and half. It's half people's fault, for one reason, I think. But he didn't, do it fast enough. But when something like a hurricane that went through the Key West and Florida and stuff, oh, he reacted in a second, you know.
So do you think that it's the right decision for him to give more money to helping these people recover from the hurricane than helping people in LA recover from all the tragedy that happened there?
That's kind of a hard question to answer, but actually, it's equal. You know, they should do it both at the same time. I mean, the federal government obviously is going to jump taxes. They don't give a fuck about the poor people anymore. They don't care about the people on the streets and stuff, you know.
Do you think that's why he hasn't given money to the
Oh,
people
no,
in
he's
LA?
making all these promises again now that since it's, what is this, the voting year? And he's making all these promises again, you know, instead of this read my lips, he's saying, give them hell. That's his new thing. You know, he's full of shit.
Right.
I think George Bush, I wish somebody would actually assassinate him.
Well, do you think, do you realize that he has been giving money to the...
You know what I just said?
To help Florida? What?
That was a federal felony.
Don't worry, we won't show this to the police. Do you realize that the president has been giving money to help the people in Florida, and he hasn't really been doing that much to be helping the people in LA?
Well, LA is the case. They're redoing the case again. They're doing a retrial if you didn't see it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the aftermath. All these people whose stores were burned down.
Yeah, all the
people were killed.
Koreans and the blacks don't like each other. I know that for a fact. Because I used to live in Chicago. And I know that for a fact. Because Chinatown is right by Stateway Gardens, which is a major project system there. And it's not funny what goes on between there. It's right by Comiskey Park.
Don't you think they deserve to get some help?
Oh, yeah, they should. If they don't got no insurance, well, then I guess they're basically fucked, because half of them are corrupt anyway.
Are you planning on voting this year?
I never vote, and I never will.
How come?
Because I don't believe in none of these jokers that are running for office.
Or how do you think anything's ever going to change if you don't vote?
I could care less. Because I haven't paid taxes never in my life. gotten away for 6-7 years now, so can't complain. I'm making a living.
Doesn't affect you.
No, I really could care less. Actually, I'd rather see half these motherfuckers. I want to see this government like change, you know, in a certain way for some reason. I don't know what. Maybe put it into a socialist nation or something like that. Because our medical system is completely fucked. It is. It is totally screwed.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
It's good. Thanks. How do you feel about the way that President Bush has responded to the hurricane and the relief efforts that they're trying to do?
I don't think Bush does anything, so I think everything he does is pretty much half-assed. So can I say that without getting arrested or anything? Yeah, I don't dig him at all, and I don't know. I mean, how much down? I assume it's pretty bad, but you know, he's gonna just do what he does for every other thing when a problem comes up. You know, just enough so he can be like, look what I did. But I think he's probably a cheeseball.
What else do you think can?
So vote Clinton, even though I don't like him that much either, but it's better than Bush, you know. But as far as the hurricane, I think, I don't know. I think there's more problems than just the hurricane that are more important. Sorry to say. I mean, as far as all of the United States is not just. I mean, look at Hawaii just got devastated too. But maybe it's Mother Nature kicking some ass or something. So.
How do you feel about, in comparison to the way that Bush reacted to the LA riots?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
He just told you it's the same thing. He didn't react to the LA riots. I don't think he did anything. I think he went and checked it out in his limo and said, "Oh my God, it's terrible. These people, you know," which he's part of. Him and Reagan are the ones who created all this, you know, deficit and more poverty than there was before. I mean, only zoom in. Yeah, I just don't dig him, so I can't really say without getting angry, you know. So I'm just trying to be like, I don't like him, so I'll just stick with that. And if you people don't vote, you're all lost. You're all gonna die. So, well, I wouldn't say that, but you're in lots of trouble if you don't vote.
Thanks a lot.
No, I just like you're gonna say something like, you know, what do you think about what President Bush is doing?
Yeah,
Can I go like,
we're kind of talking.
President Bush?
Yeah.
Can I?
You have to wait. Can I do that?
Sure, you can do that. Okay, we gotta get in kind of close because
You gotta get in closer. I think Rob doesn't mind.
Pose the. Well, I didn't know.
you can. I think it might be zoom if you zoom out a little.
You gotta pose the question and then I'll respond and walk. I can respond and walk away. Can I do that?
Sure. You can do whatever you want. Okay, we're just asking people what they think about how President Bush has been responding to the national. Are you going?
Yeah.
Wait, okay, we're just how President Bush has been responding to like the disaster of like after the hurricane in Florida, and in comparison how he responded to the disaster in LA after the riots. Both cities just, you know, a lot of them destroyed, but this
President who?
All right. Yeah, we were wondering how you feel like in the comparison to how George Bush and the government has responded to the aftermath of the hurricane, and compare that maybe to, you know, how he responded to the aftermath of the LA riots, how he treated these two different disasters differently, or what your feelings are about that.
Well, the way I look at it is like this. Bush, for one, and all presidents that gets out there, they promise they're going to do something right, they don't. Okay, maybe they have a good education, maybe they had a lot of money, but one thing they don't have is the heart to do what they got to do for American people. Now, with this whole situation, what they're doing, it's all crooked. Okay, because if they're gonna get somebody up there to do something, they should get somebody who's showing I can do this, and I guarantee you I'm gonna do this. Not somebody who's gonna sit there and talk all this crap and then sit there and you read in the newspaper or see on TV that they out there with little kids and they wives out there doing something perfect, okay? These people is not doing nothing for the American people. They doing for themselves, they doing for popularity. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not doing for American people. And with the Rotten King beating, I think whatever the cause was, whatever he did to confront them policeman to beat him up, first of all, I think it was still wrong. Okay, and they should get justice, just like we all get justice when something we do wrong. And the only one problem with this whole system is nobody is willing to listen to our feelings or what makes us ticks or anything like that. Only thing they willing to do is throw us up in jail, lock us up, throw the key, okay? Right. That's it. Well, if they feel that they doing a good job, then I guess I'm one black American that feel they not. Because I think a person has to show that they can handle the job the way they supposed to handle it, and not sit there and handle a job they get up there for popularity or look.
Okay, how do you feel about the way that George Bush has responded to the hurricane and the relief efforts that he's promoting?
I don't think he's done such a bad job. He was on it pretty quick. A lot of people say that, it's an election year ploy to get a few more votes, but that's one of his responsibilities, and I think he handled it pretty well.
Okay, ready.
How do you feel about the way that President Bush has responded to the hurricane and the relief efforts?
I think he's responded very well. I think it was a tremendous effort required to meet this disaster, which is the greatest we've ever seen in the United States from a hurricane. And admittedly, there have been some administrative difficulties in getting the aid down there fast, but you don't have emergency forces in large numbers in place to immediately respond to something like that. So there may have been some delays at the beginning, but overall I think it's been a splendid effort.
Absolutely. I think the same way, because it was a tremendous thing, really. And I think people expect too much. They ought to help themselves more. They always expect everything to be handed to them. I don't have things handed to me. I have to work for it. I always have all through my entire life. And I don't expect people to come and hand me food. I'm expected to go out and work for it and go get it. If I have to go beg, okay, that's what I'll do. But I think that he's done a absolutely marvelous job.
Well, now it's compounded by the disaster in Kauai.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really feel for all those people.
Oh, yes.
And it turns out that the military, once again, is being called into play here. And I think we're learning better how to handle these emergencies.
But one more thing. Before y'all turn this off, I only got one more thing to say. All right? And it's like this. Living live, living large, having fun coming out, not like the barge. President Bush and President Clinton putting all together, because you gotta be thinking, doing things that you got to do. Florida, LA, and you got to be true. 1, 2, 3, and 4 with the hurricane, and put it all because people are going insane with the president, with the vote. Election year, you're gonna choke. Ain't no line, ain't no plan, but check it out. Listen to what I'm saying. See ya.
Thank you very much. That was great.
Yes. All right. Y'all have a good one.